Have you ever walked into a room and felt the energy shift before a single word was spoken? Maybe it was a CEO, a military general, or even a teacher. Yet something about them instantly commanded respect. No yelling, no desperate need for attention, no dramatic display. Just presence. Why is it that some people naturally radiate authority while others struggle to be taken seriously even when they have the same credentials, knowledge, or experience? It's not luck. It's not charisma you're born with. It's a deliberate practice system, the authority code. In 1943, during World War II, General Dwight D. Eisenhower visited a group of soldiers just before a critical mission. He didn't give a long speech. He didn't bark orders. He simply walked among them, looked each man in the eye, and said, "I have full confidence in you." Those 5 words, combined with his quiet but unshakable demeanor, boosted morale more than any shouting or threats could have. That's the essence of authority, power without noise. Most people think authority comes from a title, position, or wealth. But here's the truth. Titles can be taken away, money can vanish, and positions can be replaced. Real authority, the kind powerful people carry for decades, comes from a deeper, almost invisible set of principles. Without understanding these principles, you risk being overlooked, undermined, or ignored, no matter how smart or capable you are. But when you master them, people listen before you speak, follow without being forced, and trust your leadership instinctively. In this video, we'll break down the authority code, the hidden strategies powerful people use to establish, maintain, and expand their influence in any room, in any situation. You've probably been there, speaking up in a meeting, only to have your idea brushed aside until someone else repeats it later and suddenly it's brilliant. Or maybe you've tried to set boundaries, but people still push past them as if your words carry no weight. It's frustrating. It's exhausting. And if it keeps happening, it starts to chip away at your confidence. When you lack authority, it doesn't just affect how people treat you, it changes how you see yourself. You start second-guessing your decisions. You hesitate to speak up. You work twice as hard just to be noticed. And here's the kicker. People can sense this hesitation. They read it in your body language, hear it in your tone, and see it in the way you react under pressure. It creates a feedback loop. The less authority you project, the less respect you receive, which in turn makes you project even less authority. Many people, in desperation, try to fake authority, speaking louder to dominate conversations, dropping titles or achievements into every interaction, acting overly aggressive to seem confident. The problem? These tactics almost always backfire. Loudness without substance reads as insecurity. Bragging alienates people. Aggression can win short-term compliance but destroys long-term trust. In today's world, you can't rely on position or seniority alone to earn respect. With remote work, global competition, and constant social media exposure, authority isn't tied to a corner office anymore. It's tied to how you show up, communicate, and carry yourself daily. Powerful people know this. That's why they operate by a consistent set of behaviors and mental frameworks. Their authority code that works in the boardroom, over Zoom, or even in casual social settings. Before we can learn how to project authority like the world's most powerful people, we first need to understand why so many people fail at it. Because once we break down the root causes, the solutions will become crystal clear. Before we can learn how to project authority like the world's most powerful people, we first need to understand why so many people fail at it. Because once we break down the root causes, the solutions will become crystal clear. Example, imagine you walk into a coffee shop. 2 people are sitting at separate tables. The first is talking loudly about their achievements, leaning back with an exaggerated sense of ease. The second is quietly giving clear, decisive instructions to a group who listen attentively and nod in agreement. Both might look confident, but only one radiates authority. The difference? The second person's influence comes from earned trust and clear leadership signals, not just volume and self-promotion. Confidence without substance is like a balloon. It looks big from the outside, but there's nothing holding it together inside. If you challenge it, it deflates instantly. In leadership settings, confidence-only people often crumble when they're asked tough, unexpected questions. Their decision is challenged in front of others. They need to maintain composure under stress. Authority, on the other hand, is like a steel framework. Even when under pressure, it holds shape. Studies in social psychology show that humans are wired to respond to competence cues. These cues include speaking in a calm, measured tone even under stress, demonstrating a clear command of the subject matter, following through on promises consistently. Confidence can attract attention, but competence earns respect. Without the second, the first fades fast. Think of a military officer. Their voice isn't always the loudest, but it carries weight. When they give an order, people respond, not because they're intimidated by volume, but because they trust the officer knows exactly what to do and how to do it. That's the subtle shift powerful people understand. Confidence says, "Look at me." Authority says, "Follow me." How to build this in your own life? If you want to shift from confidence to authority, master your craft, know your subject inside and out. When you speak, you should be able to back it up with evidence or experience. Control emotional leakage. Don't let frustration, insecurity, or nervousness show in your tone or body language. Speak less, mean more. When you talk, say something worth remembering. Don't fill the air with fluff just to seem present. Closing line for point one confidence might get you noticed, but authority makes you unforgettable. Think of a military officer. Their voice isn't always the loudest, but it carries weight. When they give an order, people respond, not because they're intimidated by volume, but because they trust the officer knows exactly what to do and how to do it. That's the subtle shift powerful people understand. Confidence says, "Look at me." Authority says, "Follow me." How to build this in your own life? If you want to shift from confidence to authority, master your craft, know your subject inside and out. When you speak, you should be able to back it up with evidence or experience. Control emotional leakage. Don't let frustration, insecurity, or nervousness show in your tone or body language. Speak less, mean more. When you talk, say something worth remembering. Don't fill the air with fluff just to seem present. Closing line for point one confidence might get you noticed, but authority makes you unforgettable. How history's most powerful figures mastered the authority code. Example 1, George Washington. Authority without noise. When George Washington led the Continental Army during the American Revolution, he wasn't the loudest or most aggressive man in the room. In fact, Washington was famously reserved. He spoke little in public meetings and rarely gave long speeches. Yet, when he did speak, people listened. Why? Consistency. His actions always matched his words. Composure. Even under extreme stress, he never showed panic. Symbolism. His presence alone, the uniform, posture, and calm gaze, communicated leadership. Washington proved that true authority isn't about constant dominance, it's about selective presence. By only speaking when necessary and always following through, he created an aura of decisiveness. Lesson: authority grows when you say less, mean more. Example 2, Steve Jobs. The visionary Steve Jobs was not known for being friendly in the corporate sense. He was intense, demanding, and sometimes abrasive. But his authority at Apple came from something deeper: clear vision. Jobs knew exactly what he wanted Apple products to be: minimalist, user-friendly, and beautifully designed. Relentless standards. He refused to settle for good enough, which made his teams push themselves beyond limits. Magnetic storytelling. When unveiling a product, Jobs didn't just describe features, he sold a future. The combination of vision plus execution made Jobs someone people wanted to follow, even when he was difficult to work for. Lesson: people will tolerate your flaws if you consistently deliver on your vision. Example 3. Queen Elizabeth I. The political chess master in the late 1500s, Elizabeth I navigated one of the most dangerous political environments in history, surrounded by rival kingdoms, religious tension, and assassination threats. She mastered authority in 3 ways. Controlled appearances. She didn't overexpose herself. Her rare public appearances made them more impactful. Symbolic power. Her clothing, jewels, and speeches all reinforced her identity as a powerful divine ruler. Strategic silence. She often let her enemies reveal themselves by waiting them out instead of reacting immediately. Elizabeth proved that mystery plus strategic communication can amplify authority. Lesson: authority is often as much about what you don't say as what you do. Example 4. Dwight D. Eisenhower. Calm, under fire as the Supreme Allied Commander during World War II, Eisenhower had to manage not only a massive military operation, but also the egos of other Allied leaders. Emotional stability. Eisenhower was known for never losing his temper in front of subordinates. Delegation mastery. He empowered other generals to make decisions, showing trust and confidence in his team. Clear communication. He gave orders that were precise, simple, and actionable. Eisenhower's calm and clarity made him a unifying figure in a coalition full of tension. Lesson: emotional control isn't just a personal skill, it's a leadership signal. Example 5. Oprah Winfrey. Emotional authority in modern media. Oprah's rise from poverty to media empire was not just about her charisma, it was about how she built trust with her audience. Empathy as power. She listened deeply to guests, making them feel understood. Authenticity. Oprah's openness about her own struggles made her relatable without diminishing her status. Consistency across platforms. Whether on TV, in interviews, or in her magazine, she delivered the same core values. Oprah demonstrates that authority in the modern world isn't always about dominance, it can be about emotional leadership. Lesson: in the age of connection, empathy can be a form of power. Example 6. Nelson Mandela. Moral authority that outlives the man. Mandela spent 27 years in prison for opposing apartheid in South Africa and emerged not with bitterness, but with a call for reconciliation. Sacrifice. His suffering gave weight to his words. Forgiveness as strength. By refusing to seek revenge, he gained moral high ground. Symbolism. His very existence became a symbol of endurance and justice. Mandela's leadership proved that sometimes the story you live is your most powerful authority signal. Lesson: authority can be earned through resilience and principle, even without formal power. Final takeaway from these examples: the thread connecting all these figures isn't personality type, it's consistency, clarity, and controlled presence. Whether through quiet composure, Washington, intense vision, Jobs, political chess, Elizabeth I, emotional stability, Eisenhower, empathy, Oprah, or moral courage, Mandela, the principle remains: authority is built when your actions, presence, and message align so tightly that people trust you without hesitation. How the authority code works in today's world. We often think of authority as something reserved for kings, presidents, or CEOs. But in reality, the authority code is just as relevant in a Monday morning meeting, a social media post, or a tense family discussion as it is in a war room. The same timeless strategies that made Washington, Jobs, or Mandela powerful can help you gain respect, influence decisions, and protect your boundaries in the modern world. Here's how. 1. The workplace. Navigating power without losing yourself in American corporate culture. People often equate speaking the loudest with leadership. But true authority today mirrors Washington's approach: speak less, mean more. Selective speech. Instead of reacting to every comment in a meeting, wait until you have something concise and impactful to say. Calm under pressure. If a colleague challenges you, don't get defensive. Keep your tone even, your words clear, and your posture confident. Symbolic actions. Simple things like arriving prepared, dressing sharp, and maintaining steady eye contact signal reliability and competence. Why it works today. People in the workplace are drowning in noise. The one who speaks with clarity becomes the one worth listening to. 2. Online presence. The digital throne room, your Instagram, LinkedIn, or YouTube channel is your court. Every post, comment, and interaction either builds or erodes your authority. Consistency is currency. Post content that aligns with your values and avoid contradicting yourself just to chase trends. Curated exposure. Like Queen Elizabeth I, don't overexpose yourself. Too much availability can dilute authority. Mystery creates curiosity. Controlled response. Don't engage in every argument online. Pick moments to respond thoughtfully and leave the rest to fade away. Why it works today. In the attention economy, mystery plus consistent value beats constant noise. 3. Social circles. Becoming the go-to person in friendships and communities. Authority doesn't mean controlling others. It means becoming a trusted reference point. Be reliable. Always follow through on commitments, no matter how small. Share knowledge generously. Like jobs, be the person who offers unique insight or vision that others can't get elsewhere. Hold boundaries. If someone pushes too far, politely but firmly reset the boundary. This signals self-respect and strength. Why it works today. Respect is contagious. When one person treats you as an authority, others start to follow. 4. Romantic relationships. Power without domination. Authority in relationships isn't about control, it's about respectful leadership. Steady energy. When conflicts happen, emotional stability signals safety and maturity. Values-driven decisions. Don't compromise your principles just to avoid tension. Mutual empowerment. True authority uplifts the other person instead of shrinking them. Why it works today. Relationships thrive on trust, and trust grows when your actions align with your values. 5. Personal challenges. Leading yourself first before anyone else sees you as an authority. You must lead yourself. Discipline. Keep promises you make to yourself. Whether it's waking up on time, sticking to a workout plan, or finishing a project. Emotional regulation. Like Eisenhower, keep your cool even when life throws chaos your way. Self-respect. Never tolerate consistent disrespect from others or from yourself. Why it works today. People mirror your self-treatment. If you respect yourself, they'll follow suit. Light bulb final link. Authority today isn't about controlling people, it's about controlling your presence. Whether you're leading a team, posting online, or sitting across from a friend, the same rules apply. Speak with purpose. Protect your energy. Align your actions with your values. When you master this in the modern world, you won't have to chase influence. It will naturally gravitate toward you. The quiet power that commands respect. When most people hear the word authority, they think of loud voices, commanding gestures, and endless instructions. But history, psychology, and the lives of extraordinary leaders tell us something entirely different. Real authority doesn't shout, it whispers. It's the presence that makes a room fall silent when you enter, without a single word spoken. It's the way people lean forward when you finally choose to speak, because they know what comes next will matter. It's the ability to command without ever demanding. The core truth. Authority is not given to you. It's not a title, a uniform, or a paycheck. It is earned in the way you hold yourself, in the way you stand firm under pressure, and in the way you treat others with dignity while refusing to be diminished. You can't buy this kind of power, and you can't fake it for long. Why? Because authority is built from the inside out. The real secret, the most powerful people you've ever heard of, from Marcus Aurelius to Nelson Mandela, mastered one thing first. They led themselves. They controlled their emotions when chaos surrounded them. They didn't let criticism derail their vision. They chose actions that aligned with their principles, even when it cost them. This is why people followed them, not out of fear, but out of respect. Your challenge. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Every day, you are teaching people how to treat you. If you let small slights slide, if you explain yourself too much, if you react emotionally to every jab, you are showing the world you can be swayed. If, instead, you hold your ground with quiet confidence, you are sending a far different message. I know who I am. I know my value. And I will not be moved. One final thought. The authority code is not about playing a role. It's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't need to demand respect because they naturally command it. When you step into that version of yourself, you'll notice something strange. You won't need to speak as much. You won't need to prove yourself constantly. And you won't need to chase influence, because influence will start chasing you. So, the next time you feel tested, underestimated, or disrespected, remember this. Power isn't in the volume of your voice, but in the strength of your presence. Master that, and the world will not only listen, it will follow.